In this example, we're going to learn to regroup numbers using base 10 blocks. Let's read the directions. Represent the following quantities using the least amount of base 10 blocks. So I'm going to highlight that because that's important. Write the corresponding number of ones, tens, and hundreds used. So notice over here, we can already represent these numbers using base 10 blocks. So this amount we're given is 8 rods and 13 units, and that's a representation using base 10 blocks. But it's not the least amount of base 10 blocks. So one way to think of this, if you had 10 $1 bills, that would be equal or equivalent to one $10 bill. But if you had one $10 bill, that would be less paper money for you to carry around. So it'd be less currency to carry, but it would be equivalent to the same amount. So that's going to be our goal here. Let's start with the first one, 8 rods and 13 units. And we're going to go to that website again. And I'm going to start by putting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here are 8 rods and it says 80. Move them around a little bit. And now 13 units. So notice the numbers going up, 7, 8, 9, 10. The number disappeared, 11, 12, 13. Now the reason the number disappeared is because we currently have more than 9 of one type of unit, this unit, in this column. So we want to regroup 10 of these to make a unit of the next size, in this case a rod, or a base block I should say, instead of a unit. So I know that this was 13 units. I'm going to move 3 of these down. So this must be 10 units. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lasso them together. Oops, I've got to get this guy in there. And the computer is going to transform those 10 units into one rod. Now I can carry it over to its proper place value, and notice it says this is equivalent to 93. And we've used less base blocks because before we had these 10 ones, now we have 1 10. It's equivalent, but it's less blocks. So let's write that up. So 8 rods, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now we're going to draw 13 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now what we did is we took 10 of the units and we grouped them together and replaced it with a single rod. So I circled these 10 units in red and made this one rod. And now I'm going to use a different color, and I'm just going to cross this out to know that we made this trade. We no longer have 10 units, instead we have 1 rod. So we have 0 flats. Okay. We have 8, now 9 rods. And we have 3 units. And this is equivalent to 0 100s plus 9 10s plus 3 1s. Let's look at the next one. So in the next one we have 3 flats, 9 rods, and 12 units. So let's represent that on the site. Clear. So we have 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we'll just leave them like that. And it was 12 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So we want to use the least amount of base blocks. So we don't have 10 flats, so we can't group them into a larger place value. We don't have 10 rods, we only have 9, so we can't regroup these. But remember we had 12 units. So I'm going to leave these 2 down here and take these 10 and lasso them so they switch into a rod. And now I'm going to carry this over into the next place value. Notice the number still isn't showing up, so that means that we haven't grouped it using the minimum amount of base blocks. And remember, we had 9 rods, but we just added another rod, so now we have a total of 10 rods, and that can be regrouped to a larger place value. So I'm going to lasso these 10 rods. It's going to transform into one flat, and I'm going to carry it over. And we have 402. So this is the way to represent this with the least amount of base blocks. So now let's write this up. So we started with 3 flats, 9 rods, so that's 9, 12 units. Okay, so the first thing we did is we took 10 units and transformed it into 1 rod. So we no longer have these 10 units, we traded it in for a rod. But then we had 10 rods. So we took the 10 rods and we transformed that into a flat. So let's cross out the 10 rods because we traded it in for a flat. And this was our entire simplification process. So now we have 4 flats. We don't have any rods. They all canceled or got traded in for a flat. And we have 2 units, or 4 hundreds, 0 tens, and 2 ones.